This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code SOCRATES at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, cool. So we are back after a 3-week hiatus. A lot has happened in 3 weeks. Yeah, not necessarily like specifically our lives. Oh, that's a dope shirt you got wearing. What is that?
Cybertruck shirt.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, it looks like a freaking character in a video game or something. That's dope. Okay, so yeah, a lot in pop culture has happened, but before we jump into that, well, have you been paying attention to the Diddy stuff at all, or no? Just like the memes that I've been sending you?
It's just the memes.
Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. The audio is like really loud. I'm getting used to this new laptop. Okay, so but before we get into that, you might notice HD, and we are back on Discord because the laptop finally broke. I know I was saying like October. Technically, it's like basically October, but I was like, maybe they'll drop something in November, and then fully the programs I used just broke on that other laptop. And I was like, dude, what about all the other people that are also like, are you planned obsolescencing an entire generation of people? Because other things were working still, but just like Adobe was like, no, we're not opening on your computer, and it froze my computer every time. So I was like, oh, bro, we need to go get a new laptop now. Yeah, that sucks. But you know, now we have HD and we're back on Discord, so everything's amazing again. How was your Hans Zimmer?
That was really good.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah, you're sending me some videos about it. Oh, a video about it, and it looked pretty dope. The lasers and stuff, pretty cool. I was surprised when I was in Vegas. I was seeing all the posters saying like, "Oh, Hans Zimmer's coming," blah blah blah. So like, worth going to, or because he's like he's not like a musician. He does like movies. So
yeah, no, well, no, because it is like the movies, but they've added things into it that make it more like rocky.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of sound.
Like, wait, what do you mean? Like making it like a concert? I think.
Yeah, it's like a full on like a concert. Like I remember when they did the Man of Steel music, there was a guy that did a guitar solo.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice. So they're really treating it like as if he is a musician. But like,
yeah. But
like, was there like screens? Yeah, go ahead.
There was only like one screen, but it was like focusing on different people, right?
Okay.
But it's more about like we're going there to see Hans Zimmer, but he's more promoting the people behind the scenes.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that guy. This is the guy that played the guitar that made the sound happen. Like this is the person that made the voice happen for. Was it Gladiator and Dune? Like he's more pushing like these are the people that made this happen. Even though he's the composer, but yeah, these are the musicians.
The Ludwig guy that did Tenet, he seems to be like trying to be the new Hans Zimmer, but he was Childish Gambino's producer prior to becoming like this Hollywood soundtrack creator or whatever. And like, it's funny because when you hear his stuff, I was like, because Tenet, I was like, oh yeah, like he's gonna play some stuff from Tenet. You're like, oh, he didn't make Tenet. I'm like, oh yeah, he has like such a unique style that you're like, oh, that's Hans Zimmer. You can see imitators like attempting to like recreate that kind of thing, but like nobody will be a Hans Zimmer.
I think one of the ones, I think I knew it before, but I forgot. He did Lion King. Hans Zimmer.
Oh no way! Wow, really? Eh?
Yeah,
Wait, no, no, Lion King, like the original
the
original.
original Lion King.
Wow, that's cool. I did not know that. Huh?
So they had
So
a
he,
segment for
yeah.
that for the Lion King music, and like the person behind it, the African singers, and then like
Wow.
one of the person that works on the team now or is part of the vocals, and he's like you saw her throughout the thing, but then you like she's the daughter of that guy of
Oh,
the
okay,
yeah.
okay, cool. Wow, that's really cool. So did he just band everyone together, sort of like when a band breaks up and then you're like, hey, let me just get you all back on tour kind of thing? Or was it like they've been working together this entire time?
No, I think just for the tour because that was for the movie for
Oh, okay.
Lion King, right? And then it's
Oh, but he doesn't like reuse them or something? I thought maybe
they
not.
might no they do as musicians, but certain musicians or no, right? Like
Oh,
especially
okay,
with the
okay.
African one, I don't know how you can.
Keep using that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
it
sense.
depends. Yeah, yeah.
Did he make The Last of Us? No, that wasn't him, right? That was like a whole different. Because remember,
No,
there was like you were showing me like a Last of Us behind the scenes before.
yeah, it's a
It
different
was like,
guy.
and he was so unique. Remember, like he was making like these like he's like I'm using the sitar here and stuff, and you're like,
hmm
whoa,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a
all these.
few. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like that. There's like Bear. Was it Bear McCreary or something that was doing like the Battlestar music and some other like sci-fi
Oh, that's dope.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's so it's so interesting when you delve like even deeper. There was this one dude in um when we were taking a lift back in Vegas, he was like, "Yeah, I'm a producer," and like he was naming all of these Torontonian musicians, and I was like, I'd never heard of these people. And then he played the song, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've heard it," but like you can really deep dive into like audio music. I so there's like audiophiles, right? The people
hmm
that like really love sounds and stuff. But that's just like one subculture and like a myriad of other subcultures, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like it's weird when you think about how many things are out there in the world that you can just really get into, you
hmm
know? I was at a sustainability like talk yesterday and like they were so deep into it. Like, oh yeah, like you can
hmm
be more sustainable if you do this, and I was like, oh, I personally don't really care too much about being sustainable, but I'm like, wow, you can really deep dive into like this thing,
hmm
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And like, what are we as a species with all of these different interests? Like, you know, like who would have thought of Hans Zimmer when you're like, oh, I'm going Hans Zimmer? I'm like, of course you are.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, of
it's
course
not,
you are.
but it's not normal for a composer to have
Right.
a show like this. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah. No, no, yeah, for sure. Like, who else? Unless it's like Broadway, maybe. You
Yeah,
know, because I've seen like
but that's
some
a
of them, but not
specific
really.
show, right? You're going to see
Yeah, yeah.
a play or whatever. This is a composer making a I don't know rock concert kind of thing.
No, no, I mean like I've seen like at the Broadway music halls or something, they'll have like this composer like play their thing. Can
Right.
you hear that in the background? There's like some kid yelling.
I don't think so.
I can't. All right, go. So like, yeah, like they'll have like, oh, this like Broadway musician, and then he'll like play his
Sure.
like whole orchestra set. You know what I mean? Like I've seen those, like commercials for those, but like not a movie guy. You'd never think like a
Yeah. No.
movie guy. So
No.
random.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna like open the door for other people, like the video game composer they were talking about for Last of Us. Like he's like, maybe I can do that too, and then like all these other people will
hmm
start going into it. It's also interesting because there's no like lyrics.
The yeah, there isn't lyrics per se. Depends on some songs, but it's
There's
not
like
like
hooks.
English words. But like
Yeah, there's yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like the
It's
Dune
not
one
like
is a vocal thing, but it's not like words. Even
yeah,
for the one for Gladiator too,
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
opera in a way for the Gladiator one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So how do you even like tell somebody like that's the one interesting thing about like music in the contemporary sense where you have lyrics because you're like, oh yeah, you know that song, and then you'd like say the lyrics and you Google the lyrics. But if
Mm.
you hear like a audio thing and you're like,
But that's
how do
that's
I?
the difference thing because
Yeah.
everyone there is watching for Hans Zimmer. They know all of his movies.
Right, right,
There's
right,
even
right, right.
like he did Pirates of the Caribbean,
Oh yeah, I knew that one. Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there was like a guy like dressed like Jack Sparrow,
Oh, that's cool.
fully there. Anyway, so it's like when that music starts, he doesn't. I don't think he says exactly. Maybe he said like, oh, this is Wonder Woman, but like some of them he doesn't tell. So like you're just hearing it, And then like once you recognize the sound, then everyone's like cheering because they know what it is.
Oh, that's sick. Wow. Okay. That's a cool way to do it too, because like you would know. It's like an if you know, you know
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
thing. You know?
yeah.
Did he like go for a really long time, or was it, you know, like what was it, like an hour set? Because like the
No, no,
Blink one
no.
was like an hour and a half, something
Oh,
like that.
I know. It started at 8. I think we were out by around 11 something.
Whoa!
But it took
Was there
like a
an
20
intermission?
minute 20-minute intermission.
Oh, okay, okay, cool.
But still.
Wow. So he had no opening acts. It was just him the entire time.
Yeah, he was there throughout. Yeah. But like
That's
he
pretty cool.
but again, he's not he's composing it. He's going, he's not really, it's the other musicians that are doing the work a lot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah.
He's like a conductor.
Yeah, yeah. But he's still
Oh,
playing. He's still playing some things here and there. Yeah. And then he ends the show with playing
okay.
the Inception one with the was it Inception? Yeah. The one, how the movie ends, you don't know if it's which way it's going.
Yeah,
With the
yeah, I
thing
don't know the song though.
It was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
song, yeah, yeah.
That's cool. Is that the one you sent me with like the video and he's playing like guitar and stuff?
No, no, no. That's a different.
Oh,
That
okay, okay.
was that. I don't remember if that was Batman. I gotta listen to it again. But it's like
Oh, he did Batman too. That's
yeah.
cool. Wow, this guy.
Well,
He's been in, like,
most of them were gonna be Christopher Nolan movies because that's what he worked on the
yeah,
most,
sure, that
right?
makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
true,
like
true.
the Pirates, Lion King, and there was another movie. He said the movie didn't do well. We try to make good movies, but we like the song, so we'll just play the song.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Huh. Did he play Dunkirk?
I think he did.
All right, that's kind of a joke because it was just one note throughout the whole movie. Remember that? That was like the big thing. It's like you keep playing the crescendo note, so it gives you like that sense of.
But he gives
like,
it was pretty interesting done from me. Like even with the like let's say the Superman, the Man of Steel one, the whole segment is there about 8-10 minutes long, I think.
wow, okay.
But you're getting basically the whole movie.
Oh wow.
The
All
way
right.
that he cuts it up, it's like you get the beginning part, and I recognize
Oh,
some
like
of these.
the storyline.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
interesting.
storyline is going throughout the song. You can kind of piece it together there.
Oh, that's pretty sick. Wow. Was it an intimate setting or because it was Scotiabank Arena, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But was it like the full stadium? Like you were at the very, very top, like kind of thing? Or was it like everyone was jam packed? I'm wondering what the ticket sales were like. Because this sounds so niche that I'm like,
No,
was it popular? Or
yeah,
like,
it was. It was pretty filled. Yeah,
oh, really? Eh?
yeah.
Well, the fact that he's playing Las Vegas too is like, okay, you must.
And it's not his
must
first
be
tour.
big.
He's done it already.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I think he was already in Montreal for this year's tour.
Oh, so he just was it like an added stop, or he knew he was going to be doing?
No, it's like a North American tour. So he was doing Montreal, I guess.
okay.
Then the following week is Toronto and some other places back to Vegas, as you said. So it's like
Oh, that's
it's a
cool.
North American tour. I think he's setting up. I saw a video where he's like they're figuring out the dates for the Europe tour.
Wow, that's
So-
cool. Damn. The fact that you can go international with it is pretty cool. Because, like, you'd think that the lifespan of a composer for a movie is just the movie. You know, like, you
I
never
know.
think, like, oh, yeah, he's never gonna. But maybe he's just so. Because now I want to Google it. I'm like, how many other composers do this? Because is it just him, or is it just a thing
I don't
that they
think I've
do?
heard of it. At
You
least
know?
I've never
Yeah.
heard of it. So
But he also is like a household name because of Christopher Nolan. Like everyone
Yeah.
knows like Hans Zimmer. You're like, oh, yeah, Hans Zimmer, yeah,
yeah,
totally.
yeah, yeah.
So like maybe that is why he can do it. I don't know, these like weird niche things that you've never thought of like
He was
doing.
the force. He
So
was the force
fascinating.
choice for a tenant, but he was busy with working on Dune, so that's why he couldn't do it.
Oh, okay, okay. So he made both Dunes, right? Not
Yeah, yeah. I
it
think
wasn't
so.
because now I'm like, which one was Ludwig and which one was friggin' Hans now? Because they're so similar, like the sound, you know.
Yeah, they're both
He's, like,
German
really
too, though, aren't they?
influenced. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's
Ludwig
cool.
sounds like a German name.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, wait. Can you break out of the shadow of someone bigger than you? Like can Ludwig break out of the shadow of Hans? Or are we like, oh, you're just like a Hans imitation for the rest of your life? You know
No,
what
it
I'm saying?
depends
Like,
on. I think they have their own styles.
but it's so Hans Zimmer. You know what I mean? Like
Um,
that's why I thought Tenet was made
yeah,
by
there
Hans.
was
I was oh, yeah, of
like
course.
even like for the movie Joker, that was unique to I forgot his name or her name. I don't remember the composer's name for that one because that one is the person that I think it's his specific style.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, these are like things you don't really think about
You
when you're
don't.
watching the movie. You know what I mean? Like, only Hans, because like we all know from where. When did he get famous? Do you know?
I don't know, but
Like,
he's
which
been
movie was
working.
it?
I don't know, but he's
Where
been.
we're like, oh, that's a Hans Zimmer. You know?
I think I feel like
You think it's
the name really just.
Nolan?
Yeah. I
You
feel
think it's
like
Nolan?
I think it's no from Nolan's
Because like,
time. I feel.
because before Nolan was Pirates, right?
I guess. Yeah, but
Like if you look at the chronological order
yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah,
movies,
yeah, yeah.
no, you.
But he's
I
been
don't
in the
really.
industry for a long time. It's not
No,
that
totally, totally.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I think you're saying as to be well known as in his name. I feel like it
Maybe
was
it's
Nolan.
Batman.
Probably
Maybe it's
Batman.
Batman.
Yeah.
Because then everyone's like, oh yeah, Batman's a big movie.
True. I think it's Batman because you have to have a particular sound for Batman, right? So that
Yeah.
makes him famous in that way. Yeah.
And you know what was interesting about Batman too? That's when the DVDs were out and they had those behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
like things when you could like watch the extras and then you see like the composition of Batman and then you're like, oh dude, there's the whole brain behind this. And then you look at his catalog and you're like, oh yeah, he's also done Pirates.
Oh, there was another song I didn't realize he did was The Last Samurai.
Oh wow, even that one. That was an iconic movie too.
Yeah.
Who's the director for Last Sam? Oh, wait, pause on the Last Samurai thing. You know the guy in the Last Samurai? The like
Mm-hmm.
main.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know the guy that always plays the samurai. He's in Shogun.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know where he was like, where he started to get really famous?
No.
Rush Hour 3.
Oh, he
I
was
was
in
on the
Rush
plane.
Hour 3?
I know, dude. He was the main bad guy in Rush Hour 3, but he didn't have the beard. So like when I was watching like Rush Hour 3, I was watching the whole series on the plane, and then when they showed like the bad guy, I was like, wait, that's the freaking guy. But he has a clean shaven face, so it's like you wouldn't have like known it
Right,
was
right,
him.
right.
But now he's like playing up the samurai. But it makes sense why he's such a good martial artist because he's in Rush Hour 3 and he's like already showing his martial arts skill. So maybe he just doubled down on like I'm gonna be the like the stereotypical like Japanese samurai for Hollywood. Yeah, wild though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
who directed
I don't know who directed it.
oh, because that would be like if it's Spielberg, because who's the one that always works with Tom Cruise? Like there's some, you know, they like come in like rap packs. Like Leo DiCaprio is always with Martin Scorsese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see here.
Wait, how's our audio by the way?
I think it's good.
Is it like both meals? All right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Am I still getting used to the laptop? So like the audio is like different on mine.
I don't know who this is. Edward Zwick, the director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, does Leo have a certain actor, certain director that he always?
I don't
works
think
with?
so. No, I don't think so.
Maybe I'm just thinking about Leo. Who's the Steven Spielberg who he always works with? Leo?
No, I think it was. No, it was Robert Downey. Not with Steven Spielberg. That one, I don't know who he works with all the time.
I know. All right, we know Martin Scorsese and Leo.
Yeah,
Like they always generate hits. Like they did The Departed, Shutter Island,
sure. Yeah,
Great Gatsby, I think too.
Wall Street.
Maybe. Yeah. They're always working together.
Yeah,
But I thought there was more people that did that. Or maybe
I don't
not.
know about Steven Spielberg. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anything else about? Oh yeah. So how big was the room? Did you feel like a 10,000 person?
Well, yeah, I
Stadium,
mean, like
or-
always, it's the same thing. I don't know, probably the same for the Blink 180. Like the other
No,
part
Blink,
of the
Blink was in the Sky Dome though. It
oh,
was like
Skydome. Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay,
So it was like massive, like shockingly massive.
okay. They had the bottom part of the arena all like the seated ground seats kind of thing, and then
Oh, that's cool.
filled up towards the side. So only the stage side is the only area that's blocked off. Right, no one sits there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Expensive? Was your
I don't remember. I bought it
Position one.
a while back. I can't remember.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hmm. Because I'm wondering, like, with the Blink tickets being like 400, 600, you're like, bro, is Hans Zimmer pulling those kinds of numbers, you know? Or like,
How much? 800.
like
you
a
said?
400, no,
Oh.
so 4 seats for Blink were like 1,500 to 2,000. and then where we were was 184, something like that.
I don't know
And
if it'll
then
be that much.
one row below us was like $400, and then below that was like $600. I was like, bro, what are you guys doing? This is so expensive.
Mm, I don't think it was that much,
Oh, okay.
but it could.
All right.
Certain things could be. I don't know. It wasn't
Okay.
like that
Like
level.
insane.
Probably yeah. If it's going towards the front of the stage.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna see you, me, and your brother and Sunshine are gonna see Russell Peters. So that'll be interesting to see how massive was it. Skydome? Do you remember? Is it Skydome
Which one?
for Russell Peters? We're watching in December.
I don't know. I thought
Yeah,
normally Scotiabank Arena, no? Or
I think he did Skydome once before. It's weird when you like Google how many people have done Skydome and you're like, oh, these big names. I would have never, because it's such a substantial difference between like the Skydome for people who are listening are not Torontonians. They're like, what are you talking about? But like the Scotiabank is like, I
it's
don't
not
know, a
even called
third of the
Skydome. It's called
Skydome.
Rogers Center, right?
I know exactly. Yeah, Rogers Center, but who calls it that? But it's like a third of that because it's huge. The
Sky,
Skydome, Rogers Center,
right?
because they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
like
yeah.
football things there.
Baseball.
Oh yeah, we don't have a football team. Right, baseball. Yeah, I don't care about sports at all. So. All right. Anything else about Hans Zimmer?
That was good. I liked it. Yeah, interesting.
Nice. Would you recommend regular people like me go see it, or is it more like a niche thing that you're like, oh yeah, this is
I think it's if you like Hans Zimmer, you'll enjoy it. Yeah,
okay?
I mean, that's what
Okay.
it's called. So.
I love them. I mean, you do love them. So
The whole like his I think last year's or live is like is an album on Apple Music.
oh, that's cool. Oh, so you can just go listen to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Wait, was the audio okay? Here's another thing. Was the audio good?
Yeah.
Because oh, really?
Yeah, had a good engineer there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because like you said, there's no opening acts, right?
I mean, it was just the intro to Dune. That was the intro, and then
No, I mean like opening act. Like, were there anybody?
oh
that played?
nobody else. No,
Okay.
no.
So when they did the Blink thing, and then they had the opening act of like the first 3 or 4 bands, the audio was trash. Like you couldn't hear anything.
Mhm.
And me and Sandra were like, "Do we waste our money?" But then when Blink came on, like it was perfect audio. So I was wondering if it was like that, where it's like
So they have. I think that's
set
like
it up.
yeah. I wonder if that's all done through what do they do? Like sound check. Sound check is where you're supposed to
Yeah.
fix those issues.
No, but I think they didn't turn on the good audio because they're like, "Meh, it's the opening band."
Or they
who
didn't
cares?"
do a sound check.
Or they didn't do a sound check. That'd be crazy. But they did do a really good one for Blink though, because like the audio is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Funny, like thinking about the hustle of the music industry. You know, that's how they make most of their money
Mm-hmm.
through like through touring because they
Yeah.
sell like merch and stuff. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was like, oh, you're gonna make a ton of money off like ticket sales, but you actually don't because you have to pay off like the cost of the venue
Mhm.
relative to the ticket. So that's why their merch is so overpriced there because
Yeah.
like they make their money back. Just an interesting hustle. Okay, cool. So since we've been away, I want to share something really interesting about Halifax, bro. Have you ever been?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Okay, so it is really worth going. It is the biggest sleeper destination. If you're looking for a cheap like trip, I guess,
Hmm.
because it was like $200 round trip for me and Tara, and then all the stuff was like relatively cheap. The food is not as cheap as people said. They're like, oh, seafood in that area. It's like, no, bro. We bought like a sandwich like this big. Like if you don't know how, like you're not looking at this, it's like maybe 4 inches long
Sure.
for $38. Yeah, I know it was crazy. But they were like
What
the
kind of
best,
sandwich though? That's what he was
lobster
saying.
roll. So they're like, so
Oh, okay.
I
So it's the
only
cost of
ate
the
seafood.
lobster. Yeah.
Exactly. But everyone's like, when you're going there, you're like, oh yeah, like lobster's gonna be so cheap, seafood's so cheap. So you go there and like, I'm only eating seafood because like that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
So I like went around buying different lobster rolls, and like arguably this was the best lobster roll, but $38 for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
4 inch thing was like, bro, what are you doing? It was good, but like it's not as cheap as people said. But the interesting part about it, you can totally do it in like 2 days too, because or 3 days. How long are we there? 4 days. There's not that much to see, you know. But one thing that I thought was really interesting, I want to share with you was at the top of the, or do you know anything about Halifax before I go into this? Like basically nothing, right?
It's been a while. I've forgotten.
Oh,
But
okay, okay.
sure.
So it's they even say it too. It's like, oh, a military built the city. So
Mm,
it was actually like a fortress first. So they have like this thing called a citadel at the top of the city, and then like commerce started to build at the bottom. But when we were doing the tour of the citadel, I was like, we are the most warring species ever. And we don't even think about it. Like people are in Halifax, like, oh, it's so nice now with like, the beachfront, like whatever. But it's like, no, this is like literally born off of bloodshed, bro. They built the citadel in a way, like the angles of the wall that they were telling us were like, so you can basically, if you try and storm the castle, the citadel, and you fall into this pit, it's basically a pit of death. And they just shoot into that thing with like cannonballs and
hmm
like guns and stuff, and you're just like, they perfected a way to kill people who try and come into your city, that it's like, this is what we really focused on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hmm
out of all the ingenuity, because we talk about, the military industrial complex, and people are like, oh yeah, the military's bad, but it's like, we got the internet off the military. We got microwaves
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the military.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, if aliens really did like look at us and we were able to go out into space, like, bro, we would definitely kill people. You know? Or no, you don't think so?
I mean, it's these things are all built for at the time what was going on too, right? There weren't
True.
like there
Yeah,
weren't
okay.
like good relations necessarily with the French or whoever else. So you're looking at
The Americans who are trying to come and like take your stuff too.
yeah. I mean, but I'm just talking about with the British versus the French itself, right?
Mm.
Whatever new land you're getting, you're already trying to protect it before it's stolen.
Okay, here's my question about this then, because you brought up like the French and like, okay, so I'm reading like these indigenous books as well, because like I went to the Petroglyph Park and I just slept on the books. I didn't have time to read them, but I just started reading them now. And it's like, with the way that the Citadel was set up, and you're like, oh, we're a warring species. Is that like a strictly colonizer viewpoint or no? Like a
No,
Western colonizer. Okay, explain. Who else has done that? Well, I guess Genghis Khan, the Persians.
yeah, I mean, like even
Greeks.
the
Yeah, actually.
The Great Wall, like there's reasons why these borders are built to protect, right?
Okay, okay, totally. So now taking that into consideration, again, I ask, are we just a warring species? Like we are so
It's
obsessed
not.
with.
I don't think it's a warring species. I think it's just we're tribal species.
Okay, okay. So with the indigenous, like in these books that I'm reading, they're like it was untouched for thousands of years until colonization happened,
hmm
right? When they like came in, tried to like take things over, and with that, it's like, what was happening for thousands of years that you lived in peace with this untouched land, and then all of a sudden, like we have cities now. You know what I mean? Is it like where I'm really going with this is, are demons real, bro? But not like
Sure, sure,
demon
sure.
devil, but like psychological demons, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like when you say demon, it's like they're like, oh, demons in this like fifth dimension. We're in this like third dimension.
hmm
Because like what I'm listening to about aliens tripping me out now, and I'm just like, is there a war going on between good and evil? Even though we're like, there, like you and I are like, there's no such thing as good and evil, right? It's just like a morality concept. It's like a story, like whichever way you want to do it. But I can give you an example, and you're like, that's actually that's evil,
hmm
right? Like, okay, pedophilia.
hmm
There's no rationale for that one. I'm just like, oh,
Sure.
like thou shalt not kill. All right, well, we go to war, you know. But then when you bring that other one up, you're like, there's no way to justify that one. Like there's no argument in your mind where that could be somewhat good,
hmm
right? So now we have like, let's define that as evil. Okay,
hmm
like from a reductionist viewpoint, do you agree that that would be considered evil? Even though we're both like, oh, there's no such thing as good and evil, but then it's like, well, technically this, because you can't argue your way out of like that being any semblance of good,
Sure.
unless you can. I don't know. Tell me.
Uh,
Can you create an argument for the opposite? Where you're like, I mean, I get it.
it's it's our level of morality understanding, because it wasn't like that before, right?
No, no, right. No, no. What, for sure. Like, because like child brides, right? Like when they get married at like 12. What about younger than that? That's where I'm going with this. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, no. I get what you mean about like, yeah, 12. All right, sure. Like, people were younger back then. But what about like 5, 8?
Mm-hmm.
People do that. And you're like, oh, there's no way to argue against that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that's too young.
No, you can't, right? Like that's like, oh, that's too far. Like I get the 12, like, or maybe like
Sure,
because
sure.
lifespans were shorter. People, like we watch Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
but even in Game of Thrones, you're not watching like a 5-year-old.
yeah.
Like, dude, that'd be kind of weird,
Right.
right? So now we've defined evil. So now, and then we've defined good, which is like, well, let's define good, which I think is like just pursuing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. So Lou Elizondo has a great line about what corruption is. So he always brings it up over and over, and he asked his dad, "What's the greatest like evil against humanity?" And he's like, "Corruption." And he's like, "Oh, corruption, like like lying, cheating, stealing." He's like, "No, corruption is when you give up a core value of yours in
Mm-hmm.
order to do something." Right. And I'm like, oh, I actually agree with that. Like, you've given up a value that you think is important in favor of this other thing. So you've corrupted yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if that is like bad, then the opposite of that would be good, which is like you uphold your values.
Sure.
Are you still with me on
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So we have good, which is like upholding your values, and then evil, which is like we can't argue a 5-year-old in that. It's like, oh, that's just straight evil. Um. So now we take it to like biblical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
God and the devil. It's an analogy, sure. But is that really what's could be going on? Like, are we in this third dimension plane of like physical reality, whereas you have like fourth dimension, which is like your mind, and then you have like entities battling it? Like, could that be the case? Could we actually be in a good versus evil war?
It depends on the context. Sure. Yeah. I think
When you
it.
think of it like that, you're like, dude, this is kind of crazy now. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Bible's real? What are we doing?
Allegorically, yeah, a lot of that is real. Yeah.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, demons exist, but they're not
Sure.
like
Yeah, yeah,
pitchfork.
yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
psychological demons,
Yeah, yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? And then when I hear the Citadel thing, I'm like, what the frig are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just like you're figuring out the best way to kill people. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
what? Or like even you look at the torture stuff like back then,
No, but
and
there
you're
were
like,
even,
this
but,
is
yeah, but
crazy.
when you say that, like best way to kill people, we were still doing that in the with the atomic bomb. That's what that is.
Yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. And it's like, uh, is this an interplay? Is this literally the proving grounds of good versus evil? Like, is the Bible real, bro?
Yeah, at
Allegorically,
our
not
yeah, yeah, yeah,
literally.
yeah, 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 yeah. At
Allegorically,
our worst nature, yeah, yeah. I think that's what it's
right?
talking about. Yeah, yeah,
Wild.
yeah.
And
Because
then,
the book is actually based on it's like what do you call those archaeological people? It's like it's not about like elements of it is true. It's truth statements kind of thing. That
axioms. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
totally.
that's what
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really speaking about.
Right. Like universal truths, like perennial wisdom, like stuff that you just can't deny.
Hmm.
So, so like with that, like what are we, bro? If these interdimensional time travelers or like these like internet dimensional beings are like there, we could see them. You're just like, are we a physical manifest? Is that why they're not interfering? Are we playing this game where they're just like, all right, let's just see who wins, good or evil? Like, could we be in a simulation of like, which is stronger, good or evil? Boom. Let's see.
Sure.
Because we do it every day. Like, think about like work, think about like
Hmm.
life, your job. You're always encountering good versus evil. But which is going to win out? Are we going to build like a planet of like kumbaya? Or are we going to build a planet versus like a one world government? And they're just like the elite are ruling the lower class. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
Hmm.
really feels like that's what's going on right now
Yeah.
as well.
Sure. Yeah. If you that feels like that, but I don't know if that's if we understand how everything really works. But that's not it works.
Yeah, totally. I'm glad. I'm glad you said that. Understanding things work. Case in point. Now we'll get into what I just watched. Tubi is amazing, free. You just watch a bunch of stuff on there. The TMZ documents are on there. Documentaries on there. You see the UFO revolution, but they had one on Diddy and they had one on Epstein, and we were watching both of them. And I'm like, ooh, there's like an actual cabal of people that are like doing evil things,
Hmm.
like 5-year-old evil things.
Hmm.
Things that are like, because if you look into the whole Diddy thing, they're like, a lot of them are like, we did this because they offered me $100 million to do this.
Hmm.
So now we're talking about corruption. Like, will you stay with your morality in the face of $100 million? Good versus evil.
Hmm.
And you're like, no, I'd rather have the money. All right, cool. Pull your pants down, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what was happening. And you have all these celebrities like crumbling, being shown on. Did you see that thing I sent you? It's like 20 terabytes of surveillance footage from these parties just got confiscated.
Sure.
So who's on those tapes, bro?
Yeah, well, we're assuming now, right? Like, let's.
No.
The
It's
point
coming out
is,
slowly. No, but the thing is, it's
no.
coming
What
out
I'm saying
slowly.
is, what I'm saying is, just wait for the evidence, right?
No,
So,
for sure, for
yeah,
sure. No, but you're already seeing semblant, like you're already seeing certain celebrities like get caught on those tapes and then they're falling.
no, but we
So,
don't know if
like,
those tapes are real. First of all, you have to wait for the actual evidence through court cases,
oh,
because a lot of
we
people
gotta
are
watch
making
the.
because a lot of people are
Oh,
making
true.
stuff
You're right.
up.
You're right. You're
And
right. You're right.
Like that whole LeBron picture thing. That's not a real picture. It could be It could be
No.
made up, right? I'm just saying.
Wait, no. Wait, hold on.
How do you
said
prove
it's
that?
not a real picture?
Yeah,
You
because
said it.
there's
Okay.
people in the comments are like, this is a fake one. So how do you know if it's real or not? It's only going through the court cases and these things being released, because there's a lot of
Touche.
people just putting up things to get clicks. This is how
I
people
like
make
that.
money.
I like that. No, I totally agree with what you're saying. I 100% agree.
There's a difference between like when things actually go through court, then you know what's actually real, because you can say a lot of things outside of court that are not factual at all, but you can say it because you have freedom of speech to say these
Totally,
things,
100%.
right?
Yeah,
and
100%.
there's no evidence, and a lot of people who are not involved in it are going to get hurt if we start believing
Yes.
in these things, right?
For sure, 100%. Okay, now, okay, we'll take all those or we'll take the celebrities out of the picture. There, we'll say, because if you watch the documentary, there's a person that helped him put on these parties. Like, they got his party planner on the documentary, and they're like, "Did you know this is going on?" She's like, "I never stayed past 1 a.m." Like,
Mhm.
allegedly, everyone that was hired
Yeah,
knows
there's
that
like a famous line from Denzel that says that too.
you don't stay too long
Yeah.
at these parties, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And there's so many people coming forward, and like, not just coming forward now, but like old interviews where it's like, oh, that
Sure,
makes
sure.
sense. That's why you said that, bro. That's why you said that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And did you see the Ashton Kutcher one?
Sure. I don't know what the issue is.
So
Right.
so Mila Kunis left Ashton Kutcher because allegedly she heard that some things were going to be released from the tape, and she's like, "Oh, I can't be a part of this." Allegedly, sure, we won't put that in there because you're like, well, until the court case come out, fine. But then they showed the Hot Ones interview where they asked him like, "Oh, you go to a lot of Diddy parties. Can you tell us a story from one of the Diddy parties?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't tell you that one. No, that's a bad one too. Oh, no, that's not a good one." And you're just like, so what did you see, bro?
Mhm.
You know? And if Ashton Kutcher was there and there were other people there, it's like what Kendrick Lamar did. Do you know what he did? This guy's like the freaking prophet. He's like Jesus returned, bro. This guy dropped during the VMAs a song on his Instagram
Mhm.
called "Watch the Party Die," and that was like the prelude to what we're seeing now, which
Mhm.
is like these parties of like celebrities and stuff are just like the corruption in celebrity culture is like being shown for what it is,
Sure. Yeah.
right? And even 50 Cent, remember, do you see that thing where he's like, he made the 10-year long documentary?
Yeah.
Biggest hater of all time, bro. I love that guy. Like,
Even Eminem.
50's the best, bro.
Eminem's rapping against P. Diddy
Yeah.
for a long time too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like in his new, like Tara showed me a video.
Yeah,
She's
the
like,
new one.
you
Yeah.
see what Eminem put? I was like, oh, that's like an old song. Like she thought it just got released with this trial. I'm like, no, he's He put that out on his like most recent album.
Yeah.
Like that's like a few months old.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know. But like all of these people, like you can see now, like I'm just getting inundated with clips of interviews of people like, oh yeah, don't go to Diddy party. Oh, Diddy this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like we all kind of knew it, but nobody like brought it to light.
yeah. Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it almost feels like that's the end of
It's
the
not about bringing it
misogyny.
to. I wonder if it's bringing it to light or they're building an evidence. They're building a case.
Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure. Yeah. We can't
Right.
really see it yet because we can get some more crazy stuff, you know?
Hmm.
But like um the defense is so funny though. Like they have his defense lawyer on there, and this guy paid the best defense lawyer of all time. He's like, "Why are you trying to bring down a prominent black man?" And you're like, this is all you have, eh? It's just like they're bringing down black culture. Like he's trying to make it a race thing
Sure.
versus like let's not focus what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so with all that and like everyone talking about it from before, it's like you kind of knew, and then you look at his close circle of friends and you're like, what is going on, bro? Like,
Mhm.
what is this evil that's been like hidden from us? Like, all right, so let's go back to the biblical. And they said, like, don't worship any false idols, right? Because they're like the devil, right? You should only believe in God. And like, we've turned stars into our false idols,
Hmm.
you know? And like now we're seeing that the whole thing was corrupt. Not the whole thing, but like a lot of it was corrupt.
Yeah, under his area, sure.
Right. And is it like, are we going back to like the good versus evil thing again? Or is there this psychological war happening between like demons and angels? You know what I mean? Like why is Kendrick being like, hey, why is Cat Williams, Kendrick Lamar being like, this is the year of truth? And then like Diddy's coming down. You're like, is this a battle, a spiritual battle? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's just.
too convenient.
What do you mean by convenient?
It's like, this is falling, unless like at the heart of everything we are is like this interplay of good and evil.
Yeah, I think corruption can happen. I think it's not like this is the first time some big celebrity happened to somebody like this, right? It's
Epstein was like way before too.
yeah,
Like,
but he's not
even
he's not even like a famous person.
exactly, and that is the crazy part.
So I think it's not about celebrity or anything like that. I think it's just like when you get to certain level, like again, are you falling into the corruption, or it's like when you have that much money, you're, I would say, like maybe you're trying to allow your true desires, which don't align with societal values, coming out because he's got money and then he's able to do that.
Yes, Andrew Bustamante said the exact same argument that you did, and I was like, "Oh, this is the hottest take I've ever." Like, this is like exactly it. It's not that like he's evil and he's planning this. It's like, okay, you have these like repressed emotions that are just not coming out. Like they showed old interviews of like Diddy being like, "I'm the best. I deserve everything in this world." It's like, okay, if you give that guy millions of dollars and infinite access, of course he's gonna just feed into his desires. It's almost like a person that just didn't grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like a baby that's been given. It didn't like spiritually mature.
Yeah, and like he didn't grow up, or like I don't know, like was he part of the whole Tupac and Biggie situation? Like that's been going on for a long time too.
Right. This is another thing about that. When I watched this, I was like, oh, it's the end of misogyny culture. Reason being, because remember when we were younger, like rap music was all about misogyny, like, oh, women are like blah blah, right? And then like it makes sense why he was doing those things, because you're like, that is what you were saying the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back to any 90s rap song, it was like women were below men, right? And like, of course he's going to pursue that because that was his mindset. And then if you give him infinite money, why would I evolve?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I progress? You know? And it's like, are we put on this earth to literally spiritually evolve and spiritually mature? As you're a baby, right? You're like, I want everything in this world. And then I like know people personally who are still at that baby mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, dude, you need to spiritually evolve. You need to like mature, if that's like the word, right?
Sure.
And imagine if somebody just doesn't mature and then they're just given more money and access. They could just keep building on their psychoses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
which is what I think happened with Diddy. I don't think that you had this crazy master plan. I think you just like didn't mature and you were just given more access.
Mm-hmm.
And like we loved you because you're making so many hits. So he's like in those videos of him like having tyrants, like tirades of being like, I'm the best, I deserve everything. It's like that's like what a baby would say, bro.
Sure.
Right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
literally had a tantrum. He had a tantrum on the thing
Right.
in
Right.
the documentary. And you're like, that's like a baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, we love you. You're winning these awards. Here's more money. And you're like, I am the best. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
If you
Feeding
watch
that
the-
desire. Yeah.
which is a psychological demon, bro. This is what I'm saying. Demons are real, but they're like psychological. They're not actually like pitchfork. They're like, there was like a mind demon
Sure.
on Diddy. And like, I think maybe we all grow up with mind demons and we're just like, ugh, I got to shed that, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not important, you know? Like, the world doesn't revolve around me,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? But these people don't move past it. Another important one is Kanye West. If you watch his documentary, and then even Jay-Z said it too, because they're like, oh, why is Kanye saying he's a god and like he's the reincarnate, you know? And people are like, oh, he's crazy. And then Jay-Z's like, no, he's been saying that his entire life. And then you watch the Ye documentary, and you're like, oh, he has been saying that because he has like a mental thing.
Right,
Like his mom
right,
was like, his mom like built that into him. If you watch the documentary, she's like,
Right.
you will change the world. You are the and he's like, Mama, I am. Mama, I am. Which is like a baby.
Right. 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 Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you're like, okay, he's winning awards. We're giving more money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Psychological demons, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is there a conspiracy of somebody on top running this, being like, yeah, let's just feed this demon, bro. Feed these demons.
No, I don't think like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the label, the record label.
No.
was giving Diddy
That's
money.
it's just for money. He's
But
making
is
money.
that a psychological demon too, though? Is that a psychological demon?
As a corporation, no. The corporation's job is to make money.
But is that but inherently, no, I agree with you. Capitalism, right? But is that a psychological demon? Like, if we're supposed to just keep cutting costs to make more profit every single year, seems a little weird. Oh, let me give you this one. All right, here you go. So Hoover Dam, I learned this in Vegas. Have you been to the Hoover Dam?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know how it's like amazing and stuff, right? So they built that. It was a 7-year project. It cost $50 million. They got it done in 4 years, and they spent $49 million.
Mm-hmm.
So the tour guide was saying, like, it's the only American project that was ever done on time or before time and
Under budget.
under budget. Yeah. But he was explaining how they did that. They just cut costs, bro. Like during the Great Depression, people who went in and like did the work, if you fainted, they'd bring you out. They'd give you 15 minutes to wake up. If you didn't wake up, they'd give the job to another person.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had camp cities, and a lot of people were dying of pneumonia. But now when they're looking back, it's like, oh, I think they died of CO2 poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
But they reported it as pneumonia because they didn't want like health inspectors to come.
Sure.
Right? So that's capitalism at its finest. Demons. Right? You're like, who cares, bro? Like, yeah, you're dying. Or, man, there's so many examples. What's that one? Cobalt Red. I had to read the book because it's on the top. So, like, how we have cobalt.
Mm-hmm.
Demons, bro. You know, where we're powering these laptops over, like, slavery.
Sure.
So is capitalism demonic?
Without regulations? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And what's the regulation? The good people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a constant battle between
So
good and evil.
Who's doing the regulations?
The good people.
Government.
Because they're fighting for sure. Because there's good people in government, bad people. Because the government is just people.
Yeah. But
lobbying back and forth.
Yeah. So how you run a business is also people, right? So it's not necessarily...
But that's what I mean. It's like psychological demons, bro. It's like, who's in charge?
Yeah.
Like, what's the corruption? I don't know. I've just been like really freaking out about this whole like demon thing because like I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about like that what we're seeing about UAPs is not what everyone thinks that this whole UAP issue is like aliens from another planet, and they're like, that's a very human centric, very basic presumption. But like it goes deeper, and you're like, what do you mean deeper, bro? And then like they start talking about biblical stuff, and I'm like, are demons real? What the hell's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But like you can see what I'm seeing now too, right? Which is like it's a psychological demon. Maybe it's not even real. Maybe it's just a manifestation of like human consciousness and like emotion, and we're just calling it demons. But
Hmm.
like maybe there's nobody like actually pulling the strings.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything pulling the strings. I think it's see. Sometimes it's also just how the world was set up. Like you built you know
Yeah.
you were born into that world. Now you're just you if we start from scratch, we're not starting from scratch anything, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
At
totally.
least now, everything
Yeah.
has already been set up, and we're trying to add rules to the situation that are already
Yes.
here,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you're trying to put bandages on areas that need to be fixed, but like sometimes some things need to just be scrapped and start again.
Exactly, dude. And that's the crazy part because nobody wants it to end. Everybody wants change, but you're like, you really want change? All right, let's build it from the ground up.
Yeah, but again, if we do that, then there's going to be too much of a like. It's not if you build it from the ground up. Again, you have to know that whatever's right now is like gone. So if to start from scratch is not always.
Yes,
It's you also don't know if that's even going to work too. Even if you start from scratch, it's getting
totally.
so.
For sure, for sure. Actually, I have a perfect example about this. I'm going to use it like a very loose stories because, but if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's company A and company B. Okay. Company A is the original company. Company B got started within company A, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is, company A is what you were saying, which is like you're building on a system. Whereas company B was like, okay, build your own system. Now company B is way more efficient and getting way more done than company A. But that means, is company B going to swallow company A? But then what happens to people at company A? Like everyone loses their job? What are we doing?
That's
But there's
technically
a real
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
real world
yeah, yeah.
example I'm literally watching play out. And I'm like, oh, that is like what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like you want a more efficient, correct system, you have to get rid of the first one.
Hmm.
But not everyone really wants to get rid of the first one.
Or just have to die out over time. That's it.
That's the other thing too. Yeah. Who said that? Elon Musk. It's like death is important because if nobody died, we'd have like the same old. You need death because
That's
we need
Steve
like
Jobs.
I mean
Steve
old
Jobs.
age. Oh, Steve Jobs. You need old age because you need people to literally die out, or
Yeah,
else you're
yeah.
gonna have like stagnant ideas for the rest of like eternity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like it happens. Like if people don't change or companies don't change in some things that are evolving, like BlackBerry. What happened to BlackBerry?
Yeah. Totally. For sure. Yeah. Got like destroyed for
Hmm.
like yeah. Okay. When you like all right, if you look at like I don't know, if you look at nature, like like nature, like literally nature, like dogs, animals, cats, freaking fish. And then when I'm like being around humans, it's weird to me because I'm like, we're really run by our minds.
Hmm.
Okay, here's an example. The sustainability thing. They were like, oh yeah, I try and like to be sustainable, I make new clothes. I'm like, if you want to be sustainable, why don't you just not have the desire to purchase or make new clothes? Just use what you have,
Hmm.
right? That's a mind game. Who told you that fashion is important enough that you have to keep
Sure.
on the,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? We live in this world of like mind,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like no other animal is doing that. That's why they live in harmony with nature. So is the
Hmm.
mind the birthplace of is the mind the battleground of these demons? Like it's good versus evil.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Because like for humans, like every action first goes through the mind. You're like, should I do this? Weigh the pros and cons, then I execute. Right? Everything's mental before it becomes physical. So it's like, is that mental space, that fourth dimension, time, is that where like battles are being waged?
Hmm.
Right? And that's why you have
Yeah,
like
yeah,
depression, anxiety,
yeah, yeah.
you right?
Hmm.
Bro, demons are real. But like not yeah,
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
not like what we're saying, but like there is a battleground.
Sure.
Or does that sound nuts? You tell me.
No, no, no. I think that makes sense. I've been watching this show called. It's good. It's an interesting thing where it's called Beacon 23, and it's like a sci-fi show. But the question, really, what it's about is AI. And
Oh, interesting. Okay.
so, now that we're building AI, things like that, we're creating a system that we think that is the right way to go. Like an AI to think in a way that this is, like if you build an AI system thinking about human only as a society and what's best versus for individualistically and what's, because we live individualistically, emotionally, and things like that.
Okay, yeah.
If an AI is just only to think of us as a species, so
As a whole unit.
as a whole
totally,
unit, as a species, it'll do things that'll only propagate the species. So people will die or like this, but there's no like emotional things involved. That's kind of the question what it's trying to show, right? And there's another part of it show where it's the AI that has been built with emotion.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
How does that AI versus an AI that doesn't have it? That's the clash that we're fighting here. To if we build an AI with,
ooh, wait a minute, hold on. Is that exactly what's going on too? Because like we're talking about evil, right? No
so
emotion.
there's like a thing. I do want to show you the video, but like, yes, are we gonna be, because of AI, social media, are we run by our AI right now in the way we're thinking, and not really it's focusing as a species, but not as a like a good in a sense, or what's
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, totally.
are we being run by AI, or is AI running us right now?
Okay, that's a that's a different. The thing I was thinking about was like, are we doing like emotionless versus emotion? Because like
Sure.
if you think about capitalism and you just take emotion off the table,
Yeah.
you're like, of course we would do that. Of course we cut costs. We're just trying to maximize everything. Of course we do that. But then you take the human element, then you need emotion, and it's like, ooh, but that person will not have this.
Yeah.
That's sad. I took that as an allegory for the good versus evil.
That can work. Yeah.
But that's an interesting point that you bring up too, which is like, is AI running the way it is? Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like AI is literally, because it's your algorithm feed, bro. Like what I see is like a reinforcement of my belief system.
Yeah.
But are we doomed to that? Like, all right, first of all, how many people know that's even going on? So you are doomed. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't even know that's going on,
that means you're just following along.
Yeah, so you're doomed. But the people that know that's going on, you have the active choice to be like, wait a minute, this is how AI works. And like, maybe it's like pushing me down this path. Okay, wait, hold on. This is actually, because remember you're saying like built on other systems. Like Truth and Reconciliations tomorrow. And with what we know now about like what happened, like is where we are just built on a lie that was propagated through education. Only now through the internet we're realizing, oh no, some other crazy stuff happened in the past. Like think about when you're a kid and they talk about the start of like Canada, and we talked about indigenous people too. I remember that, but they're like, oh, they're just natives, they didn't know anything, right? And then now I'm reading these books and like you can watch YouTube videos online, like all this stuff. You educate yourself, and you're like, oh, they actually knew a lot of stuff. They fully had civilizations. We just stomped them out, right? And like with the internet and like the kids that are born today who don't know anything but the internet, it's like, are we being brainwashed to believe something because that's all we knew and that's all anyone will ever tell you? Or the opposite, because of the access to information, are we going to wake up? See what I'm saying? Because
I know what you're saying. Depends,
right? Because if I didn't continue to educate myself, I'd be like, yeah, of course, indigenous people knew nothing. They were stone carvings, bro. Oh, dude. Okay, I'll tell you after, like, answer this one, and then let me tell you some craziness about indigenous people. I was like, aliens, bro. Go ahead, though. Yeah.
No, I think it depends on how you're using the internet. If you're getting information from both sides, that's the only way to really be
I
educated.
feel like you have to, it's a type of person, bro.
No, I
You
know,
know?
but I'm saying like in a natural, well, not natural, in the normal world before the internet, you're meeting all kinds of people versus only your type of people.
I'd argue that you meet more people now. Because,
No, no, but
like,
it's being more focused on your type of people, meaning like
oh, vacuums.
that, yeah,
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
where you're not when you didn't have that because you met different kinds of people, you would have to build your own thinking
Yes.
versus
Yes.
falling into a vacuum.
Yeah, like our street. We're like, oh,
Hmm.
what's a Hindu?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
what's a
exactly.
Christian?
Yeah, but
And
that's
we're
not
like,
what's happening now, right?
that's true too. Yeah. Because you can be sucked into a vacuum and only hear your point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. Okay. Okay. Um, indigenous people. You tell me. Okay. Wait. Hold on. Let me set the argument first. Do you think ancient people were stupid?
No.
No, of course not. Right? Like you knew enough to live off the land. You knew what was what. Right? Okay. So how are you going to talk to me about? So no question. What do you think this means? They said that metal people, small metal people, lived in the forest beyond us.
Hmm.
When I read that, I was like, "Is that a goddamn gray alien, bro?" Like, what does that mean?
Hmm.
And this book, this Ojibwe book that I was reading, it's like before, it's legends and like tales before, or like the belief system before white people got there. So like this is what they were doing for thousands of years. So they talked about like spirits in the forest, which is like Princess Mononoke. You remember like the
Hmm.
little white things?
Sure.
So like those kinds of things, like they have them in Shinto religion too. But like when I read about like the giants that they had to kill, I was like, what's the giant?
Hmm.
What like what? And then like the little people in the little people of metal. I was like,
Hmm.
what is that, bro?
Right.
So what are these things? I don't think you're stupid enough to be like, what is that? You know, like you literally were seeing giants and little people of metal, but what the hell were they? Unless you look at Anunnaki history and you're like, this totally makes sense
Hmm.
because that they talk about that in the Ancient Aliens, bro. So what do you think? That's my first one, and then I have a second one, which is like, what the frig?
Well, the thing is, like, you would have to make sure that the translations are correct,
Translation, totally, yeah, for sure, for sure. But
right?
like, let's say like this is all we have, and
But we're
oh, I see what you're
stuck
saying. Like
to we're stuck to
maybe it's not metal.
maybe that's what I'm saying. Where it's like cause I keep hearing this too, where it's like uh there isn't a word for God. God is an English
Yeah,
word,
right,
right? I
right,
think we
right, right.
mentioned this before, where it's like, but that's the only thing that they can add in for it to make sense to them. But now that's a whole different context. What God is,
Right. So it might have been like just like other indigenous people that are tiny with like a very hard
like I'm not
material.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe they're
Okay,
working on actual metal things. I don't know. Like we
but
don't know
it's
that how good the translation is.
totally, it's suspicious. Is what I'm saying. I'm like when I
Sure.
read that, I was like, that's a little weird, right? Okay, here. How about like another thing, which is like, so now we know about UAPs and like how they're like around water, right? And then in the book, they're like the creatures of the bottom are unholy and must be smited, and they're hoarding the material beneath the earth. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Hmm.
Like, okay, I get a fish, like a crocodile, but what do you mean that they're hoarding materials under the earth?
Right.
I'm like, that sounds like some frickin' UAP stuff because that's what they're doing. Like, they're catching, like,
Hmm.
literally, U.S. military is catching them, like, harvesting something in the water. So I'm like, did the indigenous know what was going on? Like, was this like a common thing? And then, like, they got wiped out by, like, the colonizers. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're seeing something. What are you seeing, bro?
Yeah. Again, yeah. I don't know what those
A
things
little
mean.
weird. I'm just
Sure.
saying it's a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was so independent. Like the book's not about UAPs, but as you're reading, you're like, this is syncing up with. Tom DeLong's working on this like AI software in order to read all biblical text and UAP stuff, and then find like the commonalities between them. And
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's genius because that's what I'm doing personally. Because I'm reading the book and I'm like, that's oddly similar to what I'm reading about UAPs.
Hmm.
Okay, here's the last one, and I was like, what does this mean? So they would employ shamans. They'd like hire them to fly across the Great Lakes to send a message to another person, and it wouldn't take them a long time. So what the hell are you flying in? That wouldn't take a long time. You had no ships back then.
Hmm.
They literally said flying. What does that mean? I'm not asking you like what it mean. Like
Sure,
I'm just
sure.
saying it's like it's
That's a
curious.
question. Yeah, yeah,
You're like what?
yeah. Hmm.
And then like later in another passage, they could turn into a hummingbird. I'm like, okay. So now I'm getting confused. Do you have like a ship that you went into,
Or just a messaging system.
or a messaging? But what's the messaging system? Like, what do we not like? Oh, you mean like sending birds
Hmm.
across? What it said was that the shaman would fly across and then share a message and then fly back, and then it wouldn't take too long.
Yeah, but again, it's like how they tell it. Like this, it's still
No, totally. I see what you're
it's
saying. Yeah, yeah,
true
yeah.
in the way they're saying it's still true.
We wrote on a carrier pigeon, and the pigeon.
Yeah, but it's still him sending the message across and
True,
back.
for sure, totally. So I'm just saying it's like it's a little weird.
But it's that's what I'm saying. Like how they talk, right? As a community, sometimes their language is spoken like that.
Yes.
So we're
Yeah. No. No.
literally
For sure.
translating you know what I mean? Like even in English words, there's a like break a leg, but we're not literally breaking a leg.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally, totally, yeah.
Do
But I
we get
feel
these
like some
contexts?
scholars, totally. But I feel like some scholars would think about that. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, we should probably account for these
But I don't know, like
idioms.
who are the scholars doing that? Because there are sometimes uh, the texts are done because they already have a bias that they're trying to
Right,
show
right. That makes
or put
sense.
into there, right?
That makes sense.
So that's why it's like, what are the like? You would have to talk to the actual people. Like,
Yeah,
what did
yeah,
they
yeah.
actually mean? Like, what were these phrasings
It's
exactly?
just curious because
Yeah,
they
sure.
were
There's
not
nothing
talking
wrong
about
with that. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not talking about UAPs, and I'm like, that's a little weird.
Hmm.
Like you guys are kind of talking about the same thing. Even the dude that I work with, and then he was like, I'm from Bermuda. I like said something about like alien. I was like, oh yeah, like sounds like aliens or something, and like offhandedly, and he's like, no, in my culture, like aliens are like accepted and known about. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, in the Bermuda culture, like ancient history, we believe that we were seeded by star people. I'm like, what are you saying, bro? That is literally Anunnaki story.
Hmm.
But it's just the colonizers who brought like religion to the rest of the world were like, no, God created you. But like, what if as we find out more and more, it's like, which is there's a movie in the Sphere at Las Vegas called Postcard from Earth. I was telling you guys about it, which is like the whole movie's about we killed this planet, so we seeded another planet.
Hmm.
That's what the movie's about. That's why it's Postcard from Earth, because it's like we went to another planet and like
Right.
colonized it, essentially, or terraformed it, right? And I'm like, but that's the story of the Anunnaki. We're doing the same thing as them.
Hmm.
But like over millions and millions of years, you forget the origin story. So are we that? And that's why we we are so different from every animal on Earth. It's a little weird when you think about it. Like, what are we, bro?
Yeah, in certain ways, I don't think we're so different.
Right. But
I
like,
think that's what we have to like. There are certain things that we have that are different than them, but there are certain things that we need that are exactly all the same as.
no, it's for sure. No, because I think that, like, personally, I believe that we are all the universe realizing itself. Like, consciousness is just like like to be aware of yourself is a very universal thing. You see it in plant, an animal, a dog. Like that's just what we are. But what I'm saying is like humans are rapidly evolved compared to everything else because we hit that level in the evolutionary chain, and I think that happens all over the universe. Like I think
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think we're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
uncommon. You know, I think like if the setting is right, you'll find a human on a different planet.
Sure, sure.
And
Yeah.
that's why they say like some
I,
of the Nordic aliens look like us. Like they
hmm.
could walk around, you would not even know. Right. So like that at the end of the day, we're all just consciousness and we're all just playing this game called
Hmm.
the universe. I'm just saying that like could Earth have been seeded by another colony? Battlestar Galactica kind of thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like
I'm not.
especially with
Yeah, I
like
don't know. I don't know what kind of evidence you'd have to look to prove that, right?
remember when we were talking about like the recovered UAP vehicles, and I was like one of them, Bob Lazar was like they're found in archaeological digs.
Hmm.
So that means that they've been here for a while, and then they've like hit some catastrophe. So like, are those the space? Are is this Battlestar Galactica, bro?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Did we know this back in like the 1960s when Roswell happened, and then like they turned these into movies, and they were trying to tell us the whole time, it's like, dude, no, it's Battlestar Galactica. Like we are
Hmm.
just like Anunnaki's real. Like they Tom Long, I was listening to a podcast, and he was saying that he I got to read his book again because I have it, and he was saying that the reason why they pulled him into the Pentagon is because he wrote about like cargo cults. He
Hmm.
said that human beings are just like cargo cults, which is like if you bring, I think I told you about this before, right? Where if you bring like a, in World War II, they brought like spam and like all this stuff to like an indigenous tribe and they started worshiping them
Hmm.
because they're like, oh,
Right.
you're a deity. But it's like, no, dude, I'm just from America. So it's like these ships crash landed. Maybe the indigenous were the first people here. And then they were like worshiping these things. And then like through genetic engineering, the aliens were like, hey, maybe we could make ourselves, or like intermingling with the indigenous. I don't know. Like maybe the indigenous were the first humans on Earth, and then everything else was like an Anunnaki offspring.
Right.
No, no, but like I just don't know how to explain it. Like the people that came out of Africa, like you know the story, and then we just
Yeah,
like, because like, why are you Indian? Why am I Filipino?
yeah. Hmm.
Like, why are we so visually different?
Hmm.
And like one thing that the Anunnaki says, like genetically engineered, like in the story, it's like they put their genetic marker on you, on each of us, and that's what races are.
Right.
Like, because
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you know anything about like obviously you know like oh through millions of years of evolution, and then you became brown, and my eyes became like smaller. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like
But I think that is also there, but it's also like it's selection too, right? Beauty standard selections that happen in different areas do change.
so do you think that if I went to like India or like Africa for like and my whole lineage was there forever, I would look black over time?
No, I think it depends on who you're selecting as your mate. Let's say.
But for sure, but then how did it work with like DNA
So
spreading?
it's selective. So what happens culturally? This becomes a beauty standard. So
Yeah,
if those people are not having those beauty standards, you're not going to be with them.
totally. But
That's
like
part
if you're,
of
but if you all
this.
look the same from the beginning, though, but if you all look the same, like coming out of Africa,
Yeah.
so then
No, there's
you all look
slight
the same.
deviations always happen, right?
Okay.
It's
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like millions and millions of years of like selective breeding.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
a theory, right? We don't know yet. I don't think we have a foolproof uh, thing
That's
on
what
how
I,
that
dude. I
is
tried to
done.
Google it. I
Hmm.
tried to Google it because like what they're saying. Like, so I was listening to uh the Billy Carson, and he was talking about races, and he was saying that like the Anunnaki just means somebody from not of Earth. Okay, and like there are different races in the universe that came here, and we just generally call them Anunnaki. They don't all come from one planet,
Hmm.
right? But like when they came here, they were like, okay, these are my people, these are your people, these are those people, right? And like we are just different offspring of those races.
Sure.
That's what he's saying, and I'm like, maybe. Let me look at science. So I Google it. I'm like, there's still no definitive reason why we're like,
But we're still the DNA is still the same,
no, for sure. Because like I said,
right?
that I think it's universal. I think that like, of course, it would follow this pattern on every other planet. I think DNA is like universal. Like the periodic table
Yeah,
will
but I
not
think it
change in the
depends on
universe.
no, it depends. That's more into it. But like the DNA would tell like the building blocks, right? Like the things
No,
that
no,
were
no.
part of your makeup. So if something was from a different planet, Would it have to be?
But it
You're
also
saying
no. If something was from a different planet, but it also used DNA, how could you tell which DNA was which DNA?
it depend
Because they're
again.
both DNA.
It's no. I get it. No. But there's a makeup, right? So like say the bottom row of a DNA is all A's and then B's or D's and
Okay.
something. So if the other person has a different makeup,
No, but that's assuming that they genetically evolved different. But what I'm saying is that I think humans are just a natural process of evolution. And I think that humans were built on different planets as well. Like, I think if you gave the correct ingredients to a planet, it would create exactly what we have.
hmm
Like, nothing's new in the universe. I don't think nothing's new in the, or unique in the universe, right?
yeah, there's
So I
different
think
ways of
that,
looking at it. There's another thing I saw where it was Neil deGrasse Tyson that said like we're just made up of these three main ingredients, which are around the whole
hydrogen.
universe: a
Oh, wait, what?
carbon, nitrogen,
Yeah,
and hydrogen. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
and that is like the
Building blocks of,
most basic ingredients of the universe that I'm sure there's life everywhere else, because if these are the three main basic ingredients, there must be life
exactly.
outside. Yeah.
Exactly. And so taking that in consideration when you're like, well, the DNA would be different, I would be like, I'm arguing that I don't think the DNA would be different because they're just following the same pattern.
hmm
Like I don't think aliens and stuff is like paranormal. I think it's
No.
very normal. Like, okay, spiritually speaking, everything within the universe is a manifestation of the universe,
hmm
right? Like it's like you can't go outside the bounds of the universe. So everything that's built in the universe is natural because it's a part of the universe, bro.
Yeah.
Right? But I think the universe has patterns, which is true because like you look at the periodic table, you can take like
hmm
that's why it's so
hmm
universal. Like we can create science using the periodic table, right? Um, so if we find this pattern on Earth, we'll find this pattern on other planets as well. Also having DNA, also having fish, also having plastic, also having metal, right? Because like when the meteor came from outer space, and you're
hmm
like, oh, it's going to be a new material. No, it's made of copper, zinc, whatever. So you're like, okay, so nothing's new in the universe.
hmm
It's just repeated in different places,
Sure.
right? So if the Anunnaki story is true, like, of course you wouldn't be able to tell their DNA from our DNA because it's both DNA, bro. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Because fundamentally it's all the same. It's like saying like which hydrogen carbon or which hydrogen atom came from that planet and this
hmm
planet.
hmm
Well, they're both hydrogen, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe there is credence to the Anunnaki story because I still haven't found an explanation for why I look this way and you look that way.
hmm
There's theories,
Sure.
like it's just like sunlight. There's a lot of sand in like Japan, and that's why their eyes had to get smaller.
hmm
Like that makes no sense. Like
hmm
really? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What like is that crazy though, or are you like it's making sense though, right?
No. I think I know that was like one of the things that we're still trying to figure out.
The why you look that way, or why I look that
Sure.
way.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Unless
We not be like only 100,000. Maybe we're like a million years of a species that had so much time to have different things. Like we had different types of people too that don't exist anymore, right?
yeah, the Hobbit people, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
The
Or the Neanderthals
Homo
too.
erectus, yeah.
Yeah,
But like
Neanderthals, but then their DNA is also left inside of
certain white people,
certain
yeah,
Europeans. Yeah.
yeah. But I think that that was just the interplay of what was happening. I think that if I went to a planet
Mhm.
and I'm like, oh, dude, you look like me, we could mate. It's like going like dogs and dogs. Like, how is a Chihuahua and a wolf gonna mate? But they can
Mhm.
because they're of the same type. So like, wouldn't it make sense that an alien race came down here and they're like, oh, they're pretty attractive,
Mhm.
and then they mated, which is actually again the story of the Anunnaki. Like allegedly, they found the women here attractive, and they're just like,
Yeah, but I think
and then that's how they had like
right.
freaking
But I think
proliferation.
for the dogs it kind of makes sense, right? That all dogs they're like ancestrally go back to wolves.
Right. But I'm saying that maybe humans are around the universe as well. So then like
No, I'm
our
saying like, but within the Earth itself, that means we have different
oh,
dogs.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. But right, totally, I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, I think we're a pattern, and I think that Earth is just a pattern within a pattern. So it's like nothing's new. Like we're not unique. You will find human-looking
Oh, yeah,
people,
okay, I'll agree with that. Yeah,
right? And then
yeah.
if that's true, then of course we'll have the same like ovaries and the same freaking whatever. Because if the universe is truly infinite, then of course there's gonna be copies of us elsewhere,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just need specific building blocks.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. It depends. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like we
like
can, you
yeah.
know, humans weren't here first, right? It was dinosaurs. Actually, before that, it was like trees and like ancient trees and things like that. But like, it was dinosaurs, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Things do change, even on Earth,
Yeah.
right? So.
But Terrence Howard talked about this too, and I was like, that actually makes total sense because, like, as everything's shifting away from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there was a point where Mars was in the Goldilocks zone,
Mm-hmm.
and then through gravity, everything's spreading away. So now Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, and that's why Mars looks the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, if that's the pattern, we can't find that elsewhere in the universe. Like, we're just the one planet that
Oh, no,
luckily
no,
made
yeah,
it
that's
within a
not.
Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense.
Right? So now, if you just find more Goldilocks zone planets, I'm sure they'll look like us. Like, wouldn't they like snowflakes, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll
it's
say
just perfect.
possible. I don't know, right? We don't know.
All right. Logical assumption. We don't know, but it's logical that that could be the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a freaking, uh, well, what's something that's super illogical, like would never happen? Um, I was gonna say levitate this with my mind, but I'm like, I don't know if that could actually be a possibility because they talked about that, and I'm like, maybe. But like, okay, with what I know now, being able to levitate this mic with my mind, completely impossible,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no logical
Sure.
probability. But I'm saying if you think about the alien thing, there's logic there. Goldilocks zones, infinite universe,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hydrogen, periodic table. Of course, this pattern will repeat itself, logically speaking. Of course, to prove it, whatever, that's somebody else's job. But I'm saying, like, if you speak about it critical thinking wise, you know, yeah. I think, all right, 2024 is not done yet, but I think we're going to get some craziness, bro. Still,
Mm-hmm.
like, remember when the year started and Cat Williams was like, this is going to be the year of like truths. And I was like, dude, it's going to be the year of truth. I'm believing in you, Cat. And like, just everything's coming out this year. It's crazy. What were you going to say something?
I don't remember now. Just forgot.
Okay. One last thing that I thought was, I have a few other things, but like, meh. What time we at for the podcast?
1 hour 20.
Oh, geez. All right. All right. Let me say something really quick about the Vegas thing. Me and my sister thought this was really interesting. So we saw Postcard from Earth, which was about climate change and how we need to like stop that. And then we saw Michael Jackson's
Oh, in
one,
the
and
sphere,
that was
right? That
about
was in the sphere.
oh, dude, the sphere. Amazing. That is the trippiest thing. Like trippy. U2 was like playing on stage, and I was like, bro, it looks like they're right there. If you go back to Vegas, like us, the sphere is a must do.
Mm-hmm.
Technology is like insane. Like Vegas is my favorite city, hands down, because the technology is insane. And like, I like other cities like Singapore and like Hong Kong because the efficiency and stuff. But like, no, technology is crazy there because it's consumption culture. Like they built a stadium for $2.3 billion. B with a billion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing? So there's so much money flowing into that place, right? So the sphere is like so hyper realistic. Anyways, so we saw Postcard from Earth, U2, Michael Jackson, and each one was having a message about positivity. But me and my sister were like, I was thinking it myself. I didn't want to because I'm like uber conscious. So I'm like, wow, this is a really conscious thing we're watching, but like not everyone likes that. My sister turns to me, she's like, do you notice they're all talking about positivity? I'm like, oh bro, I thought it was just me. But then she was like, isn't it also ironic that we're in the place of maximum consumption? And I was like, that is ironic.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like, why would you be doing that? Like, U2 was about like don't trust the media, think for yourself, and then like Planet Earth, Postcard from Earth was about like stop climate change. We need to heal the planet. And then Michael Jackson was about like being the change you seek. And then she's like, then we just go back to our gambling and our blah 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 and our blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, let's spend the money. But like, were they trying to wake us up? Like, it's the good and evil again. It's like all those people trying to push you out of here, and then the evil people trying to take your money. It's just ironic. I'm
Sure.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah, weird. But if you do go back to Vegas, like, you have to do the Sphere,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no bad seat in the house. Um. Okay. I'll say this one.
Did you buy the tickets like in advance, or you bought it when you were there?
But when we're there,
Mm.
through Expedia. That's the move.
No, I'm
They're
not like
cheaper.
for the Sphere.
Okay, so we got Postcard from Earth, and they opened up U2. So
Oh,
my sister
okay,
was just
okay.
checking on Expedia. So they're always changing it like daily.
Oh, I see.
So like, so you kind of just have to be on the app, but the app was always like $20 to $50 cheaper
Mm-hmm.
than like
Right, right,
buying
right.
it with the people.
Yeah.
You just buy it online. Like, and it's like, and they have some crazy deals. Like, we're planning to go back. Like, we didn't even know. Like, driving to Hoover Dam, I thought friggin' Vegas was just all about like technology and gambling, right? And then I went and did a jujitsu class, and I was like, wait, I was talking to the friggin' Lyft driver. I'm like, what are these mountains? And they're like, oh, if you love nature, there's so many nature things. I'm like, what are you talking about? What? So we started like Googling it, and then
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
couldn't, you knew that?
Yeah, yeah.
You
I've
like
been
Red Rock and like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
what?
yeah. No, yeah. When I was there, because my uncle lived there at the time,
Yeah.
so we drove to the Hoover Dam as well as the Grand Canyon,
Mm,
and then we also went
mind
like
blowing.
towards California too. So like to San Francisco. So I saw all that.
Oh, dude, yeah. That's our next trip. So like, when I saw that, I like text her. I'm like, you will want to see this, because she was like, I don't want to go to Vegas because like I don't really like that kind of stuff. But then like when I saw like the mountains and stuff,
Hmm.
I was talking to the Lyft driver, and he's like, yeah, rent a car because it's really cheap, and then you're gonna want to stop on the way there. Like you're gonna need a car because
Hmm.
there's gonna be
Yeah,
so
yeah,
many
yeah,
moments where you're like, I have to see this, bro.
yeah,
And I was like, really? So then we were doing a gun range thing, and we were driving through the Mojave Desert. And I'm like, what the hell is this, bro? Like, it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
But did you know that the water is running out and they're not talking about it? So the guy there, he's like, if you look at the Hoover Dam, there's like an old picture. In the video I'm editing, I'm gonna put it in there. But there's like a white line on the water. And basically what's happening is the water every year is dropping by like 5 meters.
Hmm.
So they're quickly going to run out of water in Vegas. And the problem with that is like you need that to power everything. And he's like, nobody's talking about this. It's like Vegas will soon potentially be gone if all the water's gone, because that's like their main resource.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, so I'm going to see it before it goes. But I wanted to say that there are cheap deals. So we're like, oh, what happens if we fly into Arizona and then do the nature stuff, right? Because we want to see, oh, the Grand Canyon, you can only buy photos. The tour guide was saying like he went, and then like you can't bring your phone or your DSLR. They don't, like, it's new
From where though? Oh, maybe.
from from anywhere in Grand Canyon. Or I guess maybe you can drive to a non, but I don't know how you do that though. But like he was like, at the place they don't allow you to bring your phone or your camera because they want you to buy the pictures now.
Well, I don't know what he means by the place. Which place?
Like, I guess there's like a Grand Canyon.
There's different, yeah. There's different areas of hubs, but I think throughout the drive, there's stops to look at it. I
Oh,
think.
that's cool. Okay, so maybe you can do it there, but like I guess at the main, because he went on like the tour, and they're like, no,
Yeah,
you can't.
there's like there's two sides to it because it's a canyon, right? So there's different roads. If you go to the other side, we didn't go to the one side that had like the glass floor thing. We
Oh,
didn't
that's
do
cool.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So that's on the list for next time. But if you go from like Arizona, it's like $1,000. But like we were just checking like, oh, what are the regular prices? The deals are so insane because they just want you to come into Vegas. So like the move is just buying like a $300 flight hotel package and then just renting the car.
Hmm.
Because like there's a lot of cheap deals on Expedia to like get to Vegas.
Right.
Little plug there. Um, okay, last thing is
Except for F1 weekend.
oh yeah, they were building it while I was there. and they're like,
Yeah, getting
oh,
ready. It's
yeah, they're setting,
November.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, he's getting like upset because the traffic's like bad now because they're like, oh, we have to drive around, blah blah. I'm like, yeah, they're just talking about, and they were selling F1 gear. I was like, oh, that's cool, but like,
Yeah.
not doing. I
It's
know you're into,
expensive.
but maybe you could like check it out. Go to Vegas for like,
Yeah, but I saw the tickets. It's not
no,
cheap.
not for the F1, just to go to Vegas
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because you'll just be around it. It's like you can
No,
definitely
no, no.
find it.
The hotel prices go up.
Oh, during that time, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so did you see this AI thing? AI teen account for Instagram now. So they're gonna scan your face. Like you
Mhm.
can't make an Instagram account as a youth, like a minor.
Oh, okay.
Or no, you can, but they're gonna give you a teen account.
Oh, I
And
see.
then you're like, well, remember before us, we just be like, oh, I'm just gonna put in a birthday. That's not
Yeah.
actually real. They're using AI to scan people's faces, and they can tell how old you are now,
Mm.
dude, or dude. Like, this is the future of like control. I'm saying it's a good thing. Like, it's also a good
I
thing
think it's
because
a
like
good
you
thing.
don't just
But yeah.
yeah
I think we just have a fear of this, the AI thing.
AI.
But
Yeah, totally.
right. But they're trying to find ways to mitigate
And protect
like
people.
consumption use. Yeah, protect the youth
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
I think it's great too. But also at the same time, you're like the world that you and I grew up in, that's gone. We are not in that world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's wild because if you look at our parents' time to our time, like when our parents had us, I'm sure they're like, yeah, our world's still here. But like from where we are to like our youth, it's like that's a 100% different world.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree? Or like,
Yeah.
like technology is insane now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're using AI to scam. I can't just cheat it with like a fake birthday.
No.
You know, like,
Yeah.
if we wanted to go in like the negative direction of a totalitarian government, it'd be so easy, right? Because you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
we have everything set in place. You can't hide anymore. It's Minority Report. We literally built Minority
Sure.
Report.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Last thing. The glasses from Mark Zuckerberg look hella dumb. Did you see those?
Oh yeah. It's like
The
the
meta
black
glasses?
ones. Yeah.
I was like, nobody's gonna buy this, bro.
No, but it's
Like,
not for
what?
sale anyway. It's a prototype.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch that yet.
It's
I didn't
it's
like
not for
deep
like
dive into it.
public sales. This is just like what they're working on.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So if you think of it like that, it's interesting.
It is interesting, but I thought, see, when I saw it, I was like, oh, they're competing with Apple Glass, whatever.
It's not for public yet.
Okay, cool. The Apple ones are a little weird because they're a bit too big. The Mark Zuckerberg ones look hella dorky, but then if you look at the Ray-Ban ones, because I was considering buying those, the Ray-Ban Metas, they're really good. They look like literal glasses,
Mhm.
so like that's a good option. If like I can't wait till these AR glasses look like that, it'll take off more.
Mhm.
It's like the big ones look stupid. I'm glad you told me that that's not for public consumption because I was like, you look dumb, right? Like, it's weird.
It's just showing off the tech. That's all.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, that is it. Yes. The fact that Lou Elizondo was on Ronnie Chang's Daily Show, I think it's over, bro. Like
Mhm.
you're on the Daily Show talking about aliens. It's like 2024, year of truth, bro.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hope nothing too crazy happens within the the 1 week for now. But,
There was a lot, right? The 3
Yeah.
weeks was gone.
I know,
For
yeah.
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
but I was like, usually you and I are like, oh, we're gonna talk about this week, because
Yeah.
like nothing really happened. But in the 3 weeks, like some craziness happened. So there's a lot that went down.
Yeah, there's like a big thing for even for the New York mayor,
What happened?
the FBI indictment
What?
on a New York.
Okay, I didn't
mayor.
hear about this. Wait, Giuliani?
No, he's not the mayor.
Okay, who then?
The
What
current
happened?
mayor. The current mayor.
Oh, current mayor. Okay, so what
Yeah.
happened?
Just corruption. Just
Oh my God, year of truth, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Demons are real. So what happened? What happened? What?
I don't know. I haven't read the indictment itself, but what I've heard was just like like the money that was coming in or being bribed, these sort of things. Like that is doing things that are outside of what you're supposed to be doing as a politician.
Yeah.
So that all came out as an indictment. So we'll see what happens with that. And I think there might be some connection between him and Diddy. You know, that's rumor.
Oh,
but I don't want to. I don't want to say
what about
too much.
Epstein too? The Epstein, because Epstein was in New York.
Yeah, but there was a different mayor at the time. This is a different mayor, right? Today's mayor.
Okay.
I would say.
Dude, that's great. Maybe the internet really is the great equalizer, bro. Like that is what's putting all this to light, and like
Really?
because like you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's better technology to figure out these things, and like people are really like, if nobody cared about the corruption, then we wouldn't put money into it. If no money's into it, you're not going to look into it, right? But like people are like interested, so we're going to look into it more. Like the UAP thing, people are interested, so we're looking into it more. And like as you look into these things, it's like you're going to unearth a lot of dark truths about
It depends
how...
but these things all depend on how strong these institutions are.
No, for sure. But
Right.
I think it's like
it's not about the people wanting or this, that. It's the institution. Institution has to be strong and not corrupt. That's the
no, for sure.
Right.
Totally. But what I'm saying is like, we were in our own dark ages. I think if you look at the history books, like 200 years from now, they're going to be like, oh, there was a dark ages period prior to the internet, because we really didn't know too much. And now as the internet's coming to fruition, it's like, it's the Enlightenment era. I think we said that like years ago on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you look at the dark ages, remember when they went around killing all those people?
Yeah.
Right? And like burning the books.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were in our own little dark ages moment for like the last 200 years. And I think we're like coming out of that because of the internet. Like, who knew about the indigenous thing? I didn't know about that,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Yeah. Exciting times ahead. Not daunting, exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Till next time.
Oh,
wow. What just happened there?
That was weird.
That was, oh, it's the double thumbs up. Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
That's probably what it is. All right, final thing. Promotion is terrible. I had ProMotion on the laptop. I was getting nauseous. Remember, I was like, I had to turn it off on my phone. What the hell? It's weird. Remember how I had to like turn it off?
Oh yeah, on your
phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, what's wrong with my laptop? I'm like getting nauseous like using it, and then I was like, wait, ProMotion, and I had to like downgrade to like 60 hertz. Now it's
instead
like
of
normal
120
again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's very interesting, like how
too much.
No, some people have it differently. It's like I think it was Marquez who was like, I can't go back.
Oh really, dude?
Yeah. So it's very interesting. Like each person has a different perspective. Because I like for the phone, I like the one that I have.
Yeah,
I don't.
ProMotion.
I think if I go back, it's like too slow.
But I wonder if it's like, I wonder like why that is, like car sickness.
Yeah, it could be
It feels like car sickness. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it
like
seems
too dark to me.
depending on the person, right? So I guess it's
Yeah.
You don't know what's in your DNA that caused that.
True. All right. Until next time, take it easy, Vish.
All right, peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.